The chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan has brutally demonstrated to the British public the military dependence of their country on the United States. The demands of foreign defense and stock exchange experts that the Conservative government of Prime Minister Johnson must keep strategically important arms companies in the country are all the more urgent now. Economics Minister Kwasi Kwarteng has now temporarily blocked the takeover of a major supplier to the Royal Navy by a US company and instructed the antitrust authorities to examine the deal. Because, he said, foreign investments must not threaten our national security. The minister is reacting less to the current US policy in Afghanistan than to longer term concerns about the sell-off of British companies to investors from all over the world. You might have seen my other video on that one before. Most recently, British distrust has focused primarily on investments by Chinese companies. These are perceived as insufficiently independent of the increasingly aggressive national communist regime in Beijing. In the arms industry, however, transatlantic connections have so far been a tradition. The British company BAE Systems, managed by the Stockholm SIPRI Institute as the world's seventh largest arms supplier with a turnover of 18.8 billion euros, does a large part of its business in the USA. Many suppliers are also dependent on the largest armed forces in the world. This applies to the aviation company Meggitt, which among other things produces wheels and brakes for the construction of the Boeing Group's Apache attack helicopter. A bidding dispute between two US competitors has arisen over the company, which is based in Coventry in central England. The Meggitt management has also approved the purchase by Harker Hennepin for the equivalent of 8.27 billion euros. This week, the Transtime Group threatened a hostile takeover in which Meggitt's value is estimated at 9.1 billion euros. The purchase of the marine supplier Ultra Electronics by the Boston-based private equity firm Advent International appeared to have already been completed. Here too, the listed company's board of directors approved the price of £2.6 billion, and that's about 3 billion euros. The fact that Kwarteng temporarily stopped the deal is likely to have something to do with a much more sensitive technology that is manufactured by the 4,500 employees of the London company. Among other things, Ultra Components control the nuclear-powered submarines of the Royal Navy, including the nuclear-armed ones, the Vanguard class. The buyer also ensures raised eyebrows. That's something we say in German. Only last year, after long controversy, Advent acquired the British aviation supplier Cobham. As with the Ultra deal, the purchase was accompanied by all sorts of beautiful promises to maintain and further develop the technical know-how. In reality, the long-established company was broken down into its individual parts at lightning speed. Lucrative business divisions were resold for good profits, and production in Great Britain was discontinued. Advent corresponded to the devastating image of private equity. The industry, once denounced as locusts by the German Social Democrat chairman Franz Müntefering, specializes in generating quick profits for its own shareholders, often on the back of employees and suppliers. Accordingly, the protests by armaments experts and trade unions are noisy. Steve Turner of the responsible union Unite sees the stability and long-term innovation of the sector threatened. The Conservative chairman of the House Defense Committee, Tobias Ellwood, warns of our industry is bleeding to death. This makes one even more dependent on foreign countries for the procurement of weapons and material than it is already the case at the moment. The former head of the Royal Navy, Admiral Alan West, refers to the government doctrine on foreign and security policy, which was only renewed in the spring, which invokes the importance of national resources such as efficient weapons manufacturers. Not only the arms industry is affected by the buying frenzy of foreign, especially US American companies. The bidding war for the 122-year-old retailer Morrison, the fourth largest supermarket chain in the country, is also causing a stir. In the past 8 months, investors spent more money on British companies than in the previous 5 years. According to the data collector Refinitiv, companies with a total value of 169 billion euros changed hands this year by the end of July. A pent-up need for the hesitation as a result of the Brexit referendum in 2016 is likely to play a role. In addition, the dollar is very popular against the pound now. Since 2015, there happened a lot. It remains to be seen whether Kwarteng is simply trying to calm down excited stock exchange traders in the City of London with the involvement of the Competition Authority, or actually demand greater concessions from investors. The minister is one of a group of influential Tories who spearheaded the virtually unrestricted free market a decade ago. In contrast, the Brexit government has announced a more active industrial policy. In doing so, the Conservatives want to take account of the concerns of the people in previously disadvantaged regions. Yeah, we've seen how that went so far. A new law will therefore come into force on New Year's Eve, which gives the government greater opportunities to intervene if foreign citizens want to invest in security-relevant companies. But this march on the companies and the sellout is definitely one of the big Brexit benefits they wanted. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.